Okay, so here's our SLS now set up, just doing a test before I go tonight. All charged, ready to go. Working fine. Now I've built in a sensor, a K2 sensor into this one. So if it senses an entity, and only if it senses an entity, it will make a noise like so. Now it gets a little louder if it does pick up the real thing. I'm just trying to set it off here myself deliberately. I've also added crosshairs to it, so the operator can see exactly where the camera's pointed at, day or night. If we want to pick a certain target, rather than guessing are we near it or not, this is more precise. And I believe this is the only one of its kind anywhere in the world, because I built it myself, and I've had a certain amount of success with it. It looks really, really cool at night time when you're using it. Everything looks better in the dark, of course. We're in daylight hours now. But it works, and that's the main thing. I'm happy with it. I have no problem with it. Now, I wouldn't recommend anybody pointing it at somebody's eyes or their face or anything like that, for obvious reasons. And it's off. It's back on normal now. Only your presence will set it off. Electronics won't. People won't, unless they actually walk up to it and physically touch it. And it works absolutely brilliantly. Now I have a couple of different size tablets. This is a large one that I use. Sometimes if I'm having a mediumship night, I have this, that I put this whole thing onto a tripod and physically wheel it around the room like a TV camera, because it gets a bit heavy after a while. I have a much smaller one, and therefore makes it a lot lighter, easier to use when we're out in the field. And that's pretty much it. For those that don't know what the SLS is, it's a structured light sensor. That's what the SLS stands for. It sends out thousands of little dots of light, invisible to the naked eye, and when it picks up a being or an entity, it shows it in a stickman form. But it only ever happens if it picks up an entity, and in this case there's nothing happening here because there's nothing to show. This here is a temperature. It's showing body heat, so it can go from red to blue. You know, the different colours represent different temperatures. That's all that is. I can swap them around. I can have this screen up there and have that one down here, but I like it this way for my purposes, because if I get a hit, we see the stickman nice and large and very easy. It'd be very hard to see it up there. But the two screens work together, and it's brilliant. I love it. Never lets me down. It's a very important tool. I only use it if I get a feeling that there's a presence around, and we use this just to back up that feeling, because I'm sensitive to the spirits. I know when there's a spirit in a place. I know precisely where they are, and we only use this really to test the theory. If my feelings are right, and if this concurs with me, it makes our night very worthwhile. Two of us can't be wrong. It'll only work if there is a spirit, or an animal, or a person. You'll see it all here on the screen. But 9 times out of 10, if I get a feeling that there is a presence in a room, it's money in the bank. I'm fairly certain that it's there. And this either backs me up or says, no PJ, there's nothing there. But 9 times out of 10, it agrees with me. And it's a very useful tool to have. Now, here's plasma ball. It's just an idea that occurred to me one time. I got sick and tired of going out on investigations and replacing batteries dying, and you only have to put them in. You wouldn't get 2 minutes out and they would die. There could be batteries that you recharged, or even brand spanking new batteries, but they would just die. So I got this little brainwave one time. I was downtown, minding my own business, when I came across this guy. And I said, maybe I could put that fella to use. And I use it now as a peace offering kind of style, or a decoy, if you like, to spirits who like to drain energy from devices. So I set this up deliberately with the intention that maybe they will be drawn to this and leave my equipment alone. And I've had a measured amount of success with it. At least 80% of the times my equipment runs away the finest now since I started using this little trick. Spirit seems to be drawn to this and leaves my equipment alone. Sometimes they're a bit like children, you know. They just see something and they're attracted to it. This seems to work for me. So that's just one of the little tricks that we use when we're out at night, and it keeps the equipment running. The rest of it are just a selection of cameras I have, with the exception of one. This one here is a full spectrum camera that I built myself. I bought the camera as new. I dismantled it and I removed certain lenses from it and rebuilt the camera, and it works fantastically. It's a full spectrum camera. You can see in the dark. I have various other cameras for short distance and near distance. They're Sony's, they're Samsung's, Pentax, Canon. This is just a small selection of a few. I have 2 body cams here that I use. I bring one as a backup in case one fails for whatever reason. Okay, this is a body cam, night vision of course. I have a couple just in case one fails. So far so good. This has fallen from the tops of castles and everything, and it just keeps working. It refuses to die. It's a brilliant camera. I love it. I have a few static cameras that we just leave in various places. They run off a battery. I can put them anywhere I like. They're night vision. They record vision and sound. Not very expensive, but they work brilliantly. If they fail or they break down, I don't cry. I just go on and buy more. You know, it's a loss you can take on the chin, and not because sometimes we work in very, very inclement weather conditions. So I won't lose any sleep if they fail. IR lights, we use them from time to time, especially at night time. Not every camera can see these now, only the full spectrums or the body cams, because the ordinary cameras have filters that can't see IR light, just like the naked eye can't see it. So we have to use these with special cameras. The Ghost Box SB7. This just sends out certain frequencies and it picks up spirits around. You can catch maybe 3 or 4 syllables, sometimes 5 or 6 words, depending on the questions you ask and depending on the spirit's humour. If you're in a talkative mood, this can be very, very handy. Yeah, another little favourite of mine. Night vision binoculars, infrared. You can see what's going on and you can record what you see. Very nice tool, I love it. Especially for long distance photography. You can record for miles with this guy, he's brilliant. Walkie-talkies, we have a few of them because sometimes we're in a group and we have to spread out, go different places, so we have a few walkie-talkies. They're great. They work for up to maybe within a mile range of each other. Very, very handy. Especially from a safety point of view. If anybody gets lost or hurt, they're able to check in with one another with these. I recommend them highly for anybody that's thinking about going out at night and where they will be getting separated. I have a range of K2s, different types. They all work the same principle. Some make noise, some just use lights. They go from green all the way up to red and orange. Others make noise. This one makes noise, that one doesn't. These are 2 more different types, but there you go. This one is setting off that one now, that's all that is. Makes noise. Now, down here, I have a range of different herbs, salts, oils, holy waters. Sometimes we go to a place and say, like for instance, a house where there might be a lady and children living on their own or whatever, and she's saying that she's been threatened by poltergeists or upset by poltergeists, whatever. She may ask us, can we try and clear the house for her before we'd leave? Sometimes I would use sage. This is ordinary white sage. We might use that. I have Palo Santo. We use that sometimes for clearing a house. Sandalwood is absolutely brilliant, especially if you've got a stubborn spirit there. Sandalwood is very, very good. Out from that, we go really top gear. Salt. Everybody knows about salt, using it as a cleanser for spirits. But this salt is exorcised salt that was given to me by an exorcism priest. If we get a very stubborn demon, this is what we use. We put it down on all the thresholds of the doors, all the window seals. Any opening in the house, we have to use this salt. I've also got exorcised holy oil from the same priest. He's no longer with us now. The man has gone back home, back to Malta. But he was very, very good. He looked after me very well. I was with him on an exorcism, and that's how I ended up with these oils, this salt. In this bag here, I've ordinary sea salt. If spirit is not that mischievous, ordinary sea salt is as good as any salt to get rid of him. But if he's a very determined spirit, you have to go heavy and use the salt, blessed salt that I just spoke about. Also, I have a selection of pendulums that I use to make contact with spirit on occasion. The larger one here is copper. I use that if there is a demonic spirit present. The other two, you can use them to, in most cases, just to talk to any spirit. There's no harm whatsoever. You'll still get the same results. But the copper offers protection if there's a demonic spirit about. I like to use that one if I think there's going to be a problem. Moving on from them, we have these guys for taking temperatures of a room. Sometimes you can walk into a room and you can feel the temperature drop. Sometimes you can feel it rise. We use this for measuring temperatures. That's all it is. It just senses the temperature and the reading comes up on the screen here. This version is a thermal imager run. If I use this and there's a spirit in the room, you can actually see spirit on this, sees temperature. It's normally blue or green. This is called a thermal imaging camera. It's very, very good. I like to bring with me out on missions. It also takes a memory card, so you can record what you see and use it for later to play back, and I can upload it and put it up on our page if there's anything to show. So you caught me at a bad time. I was just getting ready to head off. Just checking my gear there. Charged batteries, put in new batteries, whatever. Have a little place to go and visit with the crew in a while. Okay. So buddy, you behave yourself now and I'm gone, won't you?